Chiamo adesso Karim Berkouk, che lavora alla Commissione europea a Bruxelles per la ricerca nell'ambito delle neuroscienze.
Buongiorno a tutti, mi sa che farò la presentazione in inglese, però volevo solo ringraziare gli organizzatori per l'invito e la possibilità data alla Commissione di spiegare un po' cosa fare in questo campo. So I will switch to English. I'm Karim Berkouk. I work in the Marie Curie Fellowships, which I will speak a little bit about. I've tried to focus on European funding for neurological disorders. So if you think that caring malformation is complicated, wait and see for my presentation and EU fundings. So for the framework program, I will say a few words about what is the framework program, how does it work, what are the possibilities in terms of priority, thematic grants, which means the Commission decides on the field and then the researcher apply, and then we have non-thematic grants, which means that it's always open in any field. And then I will give you a brief view of how the evaluation works. So what is FP7? It's a financial arm of the Commission in order to implement some policies. These policies are decided by the Member States and the European Parliament. And then it has started about 30 years ago, in the 80s. And we are now in the 7th framework program. Of course, these fundings are more for coordination of European research. It's not there to replace national fundings for research. How it is structured, we have 4 big pillars, if you want, in FP7. One is the cooperation. The cooperation is an area where Europe is a leader or wants to become a leader in some specific scientific field. And the idea is to collaborate at the level of Europe. Then we have the IDEAS program. Here it's a bit different. For many years, scientists have complained that European people working at the Commission are too bureaucrats, and they wanted their own money to spend their own money as they like. So the Commission has decided to give a tot of money to a group of scientists, and they do whatever they want with that. Of course, they have to follow a certain rule. Then we have the program called People, which is the Marie Curie Actions. And here we are more talking about training, mobility, career development, and transfer of knowledge. And the last one is the capacities. You can see that as infrastructures, to put large infrastructures in common, and also to support small and medium enterprises. So these are the big 4 pillars of the FP7. Now, I will not go in each of them. I will just, in cooperation, I will just speak about the health and brain and something about a rare disease. And after, I will focus a lot on the people program. In terms of finance, for the whole framework program, it is intended to spend almost 55 billion euro. You can see cooperation is the largest one, but you have 10 sub-disciplines. And after comes the ideas, which is the thing for the scientific community, and then the people. So how does it work? Each year, there will be a work program that is published on the website, and this work program is done with an advisory group and consultation with the member states. And then the priorities are defined. Then a call opens on a specific field, and people apply. There is an evaluation process. I will say a few words about that. And at the end, the project is funded, is negotiated first, and then funded for usually 2 to 5 years. who can participate? So usually you have to have at least 2 or 3 European countries. When I say European, I say member states or associated countries like Israel, Norway, Switzerland are part of this what I call Europe. They participate to the framework program, so there is no distinction. But now, on top of this minimum, you can also have participation from any country in the world. It doesn't mean that the Commission will pay their part. They can participate if their bit is thought to be essential for the success of the project, and they can also be financed. What kind of entities can participate? Basically, whatever entities that does research, so it can be university, research center, hospitals, companies, SMEs, etc. And the idea is to have also multidisciplinary and translational research. For the priorities, you have usually 3 kinds of actions. You have the collaborative project, so here we have one topic at European level, and we have the small one, the medium one, and the large one. So a small medium will be between 3-6 million euro, and the large will be 12 million. Here we have a project, and we're putting together many countries together on a specific topic. Network of excellence is more about coordination, and here's the integration of the field. So it's something wider, and it goes to. And the idea is after the network, something will come up after that, and it's about it's up to 12 million. And then we have coordination and support actions. Here we're talking of putting together people for networking, and maybe to have the ideas of the future, or think about what's going to be next, and that's the idea of this coordination and support action. So as I said, there are 10 priorities. I won't go through all of them, but the first one is the health, and I will focus a little bit on the health one. There are 3 pillars in the health priority: biotechnology, generic and technological tools for human health, translating research to human health, and optimizing the delivery of healthcare to European citizens. And the good news is that brain research can be taken from each of these 3 sub-criteria, so which means more opportunities. Within the pillar translating research for human health, you can see there is a sub-point which is dedicated to brain and related disease, human development and aging. And also I wanted to emphasize on the major diseases. You have also one topic which is rare disease, and I will focus on that a little bit after. On brain research, FP7 will try to understand a bit better the brain function, the brain dysfunction, the new therapies, including regenerative and restorative therapeutic approaches, and translational, clinical, industrial research really to diagnose new drug and innovative brain-machine interface. Here are just examples of calls that have been published in the first 2 years of FP7. So it can be on identifying genetics in schizophrenia, or therapeutic approach in schizophrenia, blood-brain barrier, and psychosocial factors. These are just examples to show you how it works and what kind of calls you could get under this brain research. Now I will focus a little bit more on rare disease. I have to say that I had to ask somebody to explain a little bit more about it, so I'm not an expert on that. But I've tried to put together a few sites that I hope are going to be interesting. A few facts. The EU definition on rare disease is that the prevalence is less than 5 over 10,000 cases. It is believed that there are about between 6,000 and 8,000 types of rare disease, and there are about 15 million of Europeans that suffer from a rare disease right now, and it is estimated that 30 million of Europeans have or will have a rare disease a rare disease in the course of their life. I will go back a little bit in FP6 because that's where everything started for rare disease at European level. There have been 4 calls. Usually in these 4 calls the success rate was about 33%. 59 projects were funded and they represent about 230 million euro. And all the projects can be found in this list in Cordis. So what were the achievements of this of FP6 in terms of rare disease? The first one was the mobilization of researchers and try to defragment what is a fragmented field. And also the good point was the coordination at EU level about this rare disease, which is lacking even now. And also, I think, at least at EU level, the first time to speak with all the stakeholders, including patients, and that was also missing in the past. But there are many things that need to be improved, and that's why there was a workshop in 2005 trying to identify the future needs of the rare disease scientific community. One of the results was what kind of project or action do the scientific community from rare disease need, and they retain the collaborative research type and also coordination and networking. That's what they felt that was missing. And after, the second recommendation was more on the infrastructure, like animal models, data management, biobanks, put things together, natural history, physiopathology, preclinical and clinical orientations. And that's what has been put, I think, a few of those in FP7. And the results are mainly what the recommendation of this workshop was. Just to give you some examples of the first, I think, 3 calls in FP7 of rare disease. And so you could have natural course on pathophysiology of rare disease, etc. But that was last December 2008. There was something specific. Oops. There was something on rare neurological diseases that could have been interested for you, but it's past. But you can at least see in 6 months what are the results and how maybe these projects could help in the view of Chiari or Syringomyelia. And what's going to be next? I think I'm not sure, but they're going to focus on more preclinical and clinical research. And the next call is in July, so you will have all the information on the topic in July 2009. Okay, that was about the priorities where the Commission decides on the fields. Now I'm going to speak more about actions where it's the scientific community that decides on the field. First of all, there is the European Research Council. That's the money given to the scientific community, and they decide how to spend it. And for the moment, they have 2 kinds of schemes: the starting grants for young and promising researcher, and the field has to be what they call frontier research, which means at the limit of knowledge, they call it, which means something very new and on the very young, very bright person, and basically they will help him to build a team. The advanced grants is more for somebody who is established and basically to help him to become a leader in the field. But my main focus will be on the people program, the Marie Curie action, because there are many kinds of actions that could be interesting for you. The people Marie Curie action, it's about mobility, training, career development, and one important thing is no thematic priorities. That means you decide the field. It can be sociology, philosophy, literature, Chiari malformations, Haringomyelia. And the budget will be divided according to the number of people who applied in that field. So it's equal opportunity between all the fields. And in the people, you have a series of action. And you can see it more like the initial training of researchers. This is more for PhD, training PhD and young postdocs, lifelong learning. This is more for career development, industry dimension, which is more bridges between industry and academia. And also we have the international dimension. When we say international, it's actions with countries which are outside Europe. Instead of going through those in that order, I will try to mix them differently. And I will first put the actions where there is one fellow and one host institution. And here we have 5 fellowships like that. The intra-European is a European research, a researcher who lives in Europe, in your country, and wants to move to another European country. Here he has to find a host where there will be diversification, and the idea is that after this fellowship, he will be independent. That's the aim of this fellowship. Then we have the IOF, the Outgoing Fellowship, International Outgoing Fellowship. Here we're talking about a European researcher that goes outside Europe. Typically they go to the US, three-quarters of them. They go there for a couple of years, they get some training, and then they bring this knowledge back to Europe in a host wherever they want. And then we have the International Incoming Fellowship, and here we are talking about researchers from outside Europe coming back to Europe, and they should arrive in Europe with the knowledge and make the host where they're going knowledgeable in a certain field. If they are coming from what we call emerging country, then we would also pay the return phase to their country, so that we are not taxed of brain drain, basically. So how does it work? Usually it's between 12 and 36 months. The application is the researcher with the host, university, hospital, company. And I mentioned that they can also, and the finance is about the salary of the fellow, the money for the research, etc. In average, you could count something like between 80 and 100,000 euro per year. The eligibility, okay, what we call experience is more than 4 years of research experience or a PhD. In all the schemes, you cannot have lived where you're going for more than 12 months in the last 3 years. The idea is it's a program for mobility, so we don't want people to apply where they are already. And okay, the other 3 I've mentioned. For the IOF scheme, you need to be European. Then we have the, okay, I will go fast on this one. The European reintegration, basically we ask people to be mobile and we help them to go back to their own country afterwards. And then the IRG, this is more for people who have been for a long time outside Europe. Typically they are in the States. And if they've been there for 3-4 years, then we help them to go back. It's not usually money for the salary, but the money to set up a group, pay technicians, PhD, so that when they come back, they have a team and they come back in good conditions. Now I'm going to speak about the host-driven action, and here the application are institutions, and most of the time they are networks. The initial training network, basically you would have 5, 6, the size doesn't matter, but typically it's around 10, with many from many European countries with a slightly different expertise. Here I could see, I don't know, it's Haringomyelia, somebody is good in, a group is good in fluid mechanics, another is good in imaging, another is more in genetics. And the idea is to put all these people together and then you recruit PhDs, and this PhD or doctoral people would go to the other centers and learn about all these disciplines. It has to be somehow the involvement of industry, and once the network is funded, basically they open their position in a website, and people can apply from wherever they know in that network they want a PhD in that field, and then people will go and candidate for this position. Here also the money includes salaries for researchers. We also have visiting researchers for high-level scientists who come and who speak who spend 3 weeks, 1 month in the network. Also for organizing conferences and workshops. Industry academia, so here the idea is to have an exchange between industry and academia. So once the consortium is funded, the people who work in the industry will have to go to the academia, and vice versa. People from the university, hospital would go and work in the industry, and the idea is to make these worlds come together a little bit more, and also to change the mentality of young researchers, where they either think academia or they either think private. With this scheme, we hope to make bridges, and it's not because you started your life in one direction that you cannot go to the other and come back again. IRSES, this is a new scheme in FP7, International Research Staff Exchange. Here we need at least 2 European hosts, and 1 host from outside Europe. And here the idea is to exchange during a project which is usually 4 years. People could go, let's say, every year for 1 month or a couple of months, and the Commission will pay a top-up salary or help for the mobility, and the person could go up to 12 months in the 4 years. And the idea is to have many partners, and here also I think for Chiari Malformation or for Sarangomelia, when you need to put together people from the world, this could be an interesting scheme for that. Okay, and the co-fund here, we do not evaluate individuals or networks, we evaluate funding agencies. Let's say that, I'm not sure if the CNR has a scheme for fellowship. They would put a proposal to the Commission, and we would evaluate the way they recruit fellows, the conditions they give to the fellows, the money, the social security, the pension, and how they treat the fellows. And if we believe this is of a good level, then we will give 40% of the program. And the idea behind is structuring Europe a little bit in that respect. Okay, as a summary, if you are an applicant, if the applicant is an individual, he can apply to the 5 individual fellowships. And here I put also the years of experience. If the applicant is an industry or research institution, they could apply to initial training networks, industry academia pathways, and the International Research Staff Exchange. And if you are a funding agency, then you could apply to this co-fund scheme. Just one word on the evaluation. How does it work? Usually there is a deadline. People have sent their proposal. We check the eligibility. For each proposal, there will be at least 3 experts. These experts are people from the industry, from the universities that we selected before. So each proposal is reviewed by 3 experts. At the beginning, nobody knows the name of the other 3. Once they have given their mark, we bring them all together in Brussels, and they meet and speak about the project, and they give a final mark, and then we have a ranking. By the way, if you want to be an expert of the Commission, maybe I can give you the link, and you could evaluate projects of others. This is also an interesting job to see what's going on in some fields. So before writing, of course, you have to read. The main advices will be the work program. This is where the objectives are set, and also the evaluation criteria. Always start by the evaluation criteria, or at least read them and know what they are, and think your proposal according to those. I will, yeah, just the same thing. Just read all the evaluation criteria. Remember that you have to convince the evaluators. You have, and the network. Everybody has to put his part. It feels when it's only one person that is pulling the whole thing. It has to be really a collaboration. And also, do not try to write a lot. Usually, try to be concise. The experts have to read hundreds of pages. So the less they have to read, and if it's clear and if it goes to the point, the happier they are, and the higher the mark is. And just a few things. For the individual fellowship, there will be a deadline in August 2009. In terms of, for industry academia, will be the 27th of July. And for ERG-IRG, the reintegration grant will be in October 2009. Okay, I think that's it for me. Thank you very much.